Hello, Internet.
Hey, you're live on the internet.
What up?
Let me stop before I get jumped on
Fucking,
the sickness.
I was going to say, there's Hiram over there shimmying and shit.
We've got everybody with the deep voices tonight.
Well, we understand that apparently we impregnate over 50-year-old men in Kansas.
What?
I sent you the image too. That Taylor said he went outside and he peed, and then he looked down and it was a stick, but it had a positive pregnancy test because of your two motherfuckers smooth ass voices.
I hope you're enjoying yourself, Taylor.
That's great. Is because we're early. Nobody's watching. That was just for us.
Get the fuck on the stream. Where's Graham at when you need him?
Stream us.
Oh, I was over at Graham's on Saturday and saw the baby.
Nice.
It's a month old.
Baby.
It's a baby.
It shits, it eats, it cries. That's what it does. Like
It exists.
Rob and Elizabeth, his wife, were both holding the baby, and I was just like, "Yeah, I'll hold it eventually." Just never held it.
Yeah, not much. Until they can do stuff.
Until they can hold their heads up.
Yeah. Or at least like make faces at me or follow my eye or giggle when I go.
Yeah.
Until then,
I'm not like
I was spending more time playing with Cam, the 2-year-old. It's like, oh, you got a ball, let's throw a ball. Like, let's do fucking crazy stuff.
I'm not a cradle holder. I'm more of a under the butt. Like you can support yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I'm with you on that.
Kids.
See, my brother and I had it good because my brother likes babies. But my brother's kind of lazy. So like just sit there and hold a sleeping baby. Whereas like the toddlers, 4 or 5, you have to engage.
Yes.
Got to run around, chase their asses. They're
like
fucking
the ones
lunatics.
to engage with.
Yeah.
So when James was a baby, it was great. I didn't fuck off with James, and he had James, and I took Abby, and we tag team that shit.
Yeah.
Is it me or am I the only one who doesn't like to do baby talk with baby? Like I will literally talk to the baby like it's a grown ass adult.
I talk to babies like they're adults.
That's how we talk to Abby and James.
I'm pretty sure I talk to my dog like a baby,
adults.
but I talk to the kids like adults.
Okay, good.
Remember, James, hey, Aunt Mel, can we have a serious conversation about dinosaurs? He doesn't say that to just anybody.
Yeah. Also, with most of my friends' babies, there's a old Chappelle stand-up where like he does the baby selling crack on the corner.
Yeah.
And so I very much still say, "Hey, baby," like, to most babies that I know.
I love it.
Oh, apparently, every day.
Every day.
James has been asking to come over to Aunt Mel's house.
He always says he wants to go see the chickens and get eggs.
No, can I go see Aunt Mel and Sam? And apparently he had a big temper tantrum, and they told him no yesterday.
Oh, no.
I was like, where were we? I don't think we were around.
It did work out perfectly for that young man, and I really, really do hope that his parents are doing what I asked, because Abby and James and now Stella, my niece for our middle sister down in Florida, every year I'm buying one of the kits. So, and each of them get a different one, right? Like last year, one of them got the blue kit, one of them got the the pink, well, it wasn't a pink kit, a yellow kit, and one of them got the
salmon.
The salmon kit, right? So everybody just different. Well, it wasn't that last year. I forget what last year's was. Oh no, last year's was a salmon kit. It was a pink kit. But that's what I do, and it worked out perfectly. The year James was born, we had James Rodriguez, so I got him the James Rodriguez for his first year of birth. Like, so hopefully, most of the time I don't put any names on the back. It's just it's already expensive enough as it is to buy those things.
At lunch, I got the recap on the Pee Wee games over the weekend.
Okay.
James scored a goal. Big winner.
Big winner. Nice. Love that. Nicely done.
Abby had a ball taken from her, and they scored a goal.
Dang.
Big breakdown.
Oh, no.
Like, full panic attack. I don't know why I can't stop crying, Mommy. I can't breathe.
Oh, no.
It ended up only playing like 4 minutes. And apparently nobody was there, just Danny and Katie. And so Mom's like, and this is my mother's way of being passive aggressive. Well, I don't know if she was that upset because, well, you know, you all weren't there to watch her.
As I have told them, because I've come out to one game. Because it was international break and there was no games. I was like, not for nothing. I do have Patreons that give us fucking money.
Yeah.
This is a job.
Yeah.
I need to watch all the fucking games.
Yeah.
It is my job to do that.
Well, I wasn't feeling well Saturday, so I didn't go. So I'll have to go this Saturday. But yeah, that was my mother's comment. But she bought lunch. What am I supposed to do?
Oh, she can get the fuck over that.
I love.
Yeah.
Stop it. I love her. Yeah. I'm only saying that because I noticed somebody's watching and it could be her.
Oh, that's cool.
Hello.
All right, well, let's do the EFL show then.
All right.
This thing just happened.
That's the wrong
I
button.
stopped at the gas
I know.
station to buy some Reese's peanut
Are you
butter
mad?
cups.
No.
Ended up buying some beer.
Drink beer.
Moral of the story: I like titties.
All right.
Facts.
I just want to warm you up a little.
Gotta love the titties.
Oh, real quick before you hit anything. Remember, boys, we already recorded the main show. It's
Yes.
out of order. So
Gotcha.
Yes, you guys online. We already did main show. But
Yeah.
main show will be after this, so stick around.
You're in reverse world. Well, boys, first show down, cruising along, doing well. I'm hoping you haven't impregnated anybody else yet with your fine, soft voices.
Too late.
That's
no,
already done.
No promises.
I got triplets on the way.
I got motherfucking Barry White and Marvin Gaye over here. Just the smooth, docile
I'm
tones.
definitely expecting in April.
You know, I ain't raising it. That's on you, woman. All right, everybody, let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Huston.
Sam Huston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL Show, a completely biased, brief recap of the English Football League as told by three common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Huston. Of course, with me this week, we have Hiram and Alan. Boys, you ready to talk about the lower leagues?
Always.
Let's do it.
And we're also going to, at the end, there'll be a little bit of a treat. We're going to talk about the League Cup, and three of the four of us here did really, really well, and then one of us is out of the Cup. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can find us wherever you get your podcast, and you can watch us live every single Monday night as well on all your streaming preferences. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Producer Mel, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Well, that's simple. You can just drop us an email at dufootballshow@gmail.com. Or you can find us in all the socials at dufootballshow. Text, call, bathroom walls. There's a lot of ways.
I mean, there are stickers of our shows on bathroom walls.
Yeah. 240.
We gotta put the new ones up. You fuck right entirely off.
Above or below the hole?
I like it to be above the hole because the one performing, I want them to have direct eye contact with that sticker.
Yeah.
You know, so while they're doing their thing, they go, maybe I should check that show out.
Also, we're just going to forget, like, you just didn't say .com again.
What?
Oh, that was deliberate. She didn't
I know
know
it was.
you.
You said it was only Gmail, and I'm not supposed to go .com because all the young kids aren't doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm a vampire, so.
That's what young hot freshness does.
Yeah.
That's how it rolls.
I keep telling you, I'm 50.
It's what's popping in the streets, man.
It's
we are
implied.
going to have to find somebody younger and faster than Hiram.
Oh, that's impossible.
Only a matter of time. Only a matter of time. Trust me,
Don't-
you'll age out of our
Oh.
demographic soon enough.
Yeah. Don't threaten us with a good time.
We are drinking the same shit we drank on the last show, so let's go ahead and get into it.
Championship Corner!
I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh no!
The Foxes just keep fucking rolling, beating Blackburn 4-1. Even Jamie fucking Vardy. By the way, Hiram, that's his Christian name. Fucking.
I get it.
Yeah. And he scored. He's now got 3 on the season. Check his ass out. Oh, man, Vardy's still getting it fucking done. And Ipswich drew, so Leicester now have a 2-point lead at the top. They're no longer level on points with them, which is pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, lost a good chunk of players.
A lot
I think
of players.
keeping Dewsbury Hall,
Was big.
that is, to equate it, it is Villa keeping Grealish when they went down.
Yeah.
It's the keeping that kind of cog who's going to be what gets your team going. And
Yeah.
I also, with that, I don't see him being like a James Madison type who was down in, with Norwich, and then immediately the moment they got promoted, he got sold.
Yep.
I don't see Dewsbury Hall coming back up and then being like, oh, sell my ass. I think he'll be like, yeah, I want to stay up here with these guys.
Keep rolling.
Yeah.
At least for a year.
Right. Eventually. I mean, it's Grealish. He stayed up for 2 years with Villa, and then
2 more?
and then it was finally there was the buyout clause, and the good thing for him, he wrote that into his contract. Fucking his club gets paid, because there's especially for a younger player who's been with the club for a very long time. There is the boyhood fucking love of that club. You're always going to root for him a little bit, unless you just like get fucking completely done over by him, which is what Everton does to all of their young players all the time.
Thanks for Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. You're not going to like this, but Sunderland move into 4th place after beating winless Sheffield Wednesday 3-0. They have the number 2 leading goal scorer. Number 1 is still Armstrong with Southampton, who's really lighting it up for them. Yeah. And I didn't have it here in the notes, but I do want to just mention it. Southampton did get off the bump, unfortunately, against Leeds. So Leeds suffered a defeat, but you wouldn't have known that at halftime if you were part of the Drunkard FC, the Drunkard United FC closed group. They were a little hammered. Yeah. They were very shirtless. That happens. They were standing on top of things, jumping around and dancing. Yeah. And stewards thought they were going to die.
Yeah. Look, Northmen take their shirts off at any chance. Is what I've learned over 20 plus years of following English football.
I thought Northmen punched horses.
That's also true. Northmen do many things.
Yes. Hiram, are you familiar with that story?
No.
It is your club and it is your embarrassing story, so I leave it to you to tell.
There's actually, I'll send you a link later. There's a big YouTube a mini documentary on it, but it was a Tyne-Wear derby. 10, 15 years ago at this point.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've even had one. And they're always quite rowdy. And I forget how it all devolved, but on like one of the sides of the stadium, the Newcastle supporters and the Sunderland supporters somehow got intermingled, which is a big no-no. Yeah. And the police started coming through with the horses, and one of our drunk Geordie compatriots just walloped the horse, punched a fucking police horse, like dead in its head, like right in the snout area, and they were like, "All right, well now we're arresting you." Yeah, and it's yeah.
You know what they say about the Tyne-Wear area, right?
What's that?
The Boston of fucking England, basically.
Pretty much.
Definitely the north. It's the Northeast for both. It's kind of the Boston.
There's a picture of us. We were at Anfield, and there was a policeman on a horse, and there's Kelly, my wife, has got a picture of her like. It's fantastic.
That's a fucking keeper right there, my friend. That's great. A fucking keeper. So along with the 3 clubs we already mentioned, with Leicester being in 1st, Ipswich being in 2nd, and Sunderland being in 4th, we also currently have in the playoff spots now. Granted, there's still 5 years left to play in the season. Preston North End sits in 3rd. Hull City sits in 5th, and Cardiff sits in 6th. So a couple of old school teams that haven't been up in the Prem for a long time.
It's been a minute since I heard anything good from Hull City.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And the best thing from Hull City was the kid that's now with Forest, Lewis Hall. No, not Lewis Hall. It's the one who. Not Forrest. He's with Brentford, the one who got subbed in for Kevin Schott. I can't remember his name, so I'll keep it rolling.
You're not gonna mention Harry Maguire?
Yeah. He Leicester, and I think Charlton before that. So I
thought he was at Hull. Yeah.
You know what? You're right. He was at Hull for a little bit.
Yeah.
He was at Hull for a little bit, but it was Leicester where he cut the teeth.
There's a bunch of teams that made a mistake on that motherfucker.
He used to be good for a little while there.
Yeah, for a second.
Yeah. Middlesbrough is finally out of the drop zone. They got a 2nd win, but there's a lot of very storied clubs in and around the bottom right now. QPR is in the drop right now. Swansea City, Watford, Blackburn, and Huddersfield are all around it, just a few points outside of it. Now, Huddersfield, we know, has been having problems for the past couple of seasons, but that's some bigger names. Watford was in the Prem not too long ago, and Swans is a team that typically in the playoffs. Blackburn's a team that's typically around the playoffs, if not in the playoffs. Like, it's not a good start for some of those clubs, and you don't want to. Worst case scenario, you want to be part of the furniture and just stay in the league. You don't want to go, get sent down to League One.
Right.
On to League One. We're going to kill two birds with one stone here. Pompey, Portsmouth, still unbeaten as they beat still in the drop zone, Wigan 2-1, and the Latics have dropped to 22nd, and Pompey, of course, is sitting top of the league. The fucking Wigan thing just makes me giggle. Yeah. Oxford beat Stevenage, and that was in a battle of second and third, and then Bolton, the Posh, and Port Vale actually round out the rest of the top six right now. So the Posh is Peterborough United. Do you know the reason why why everybody nicknamed them the Posh?
No.
They had one of their advertisements as a club when they were first as a club to have people come to try out was only posh men need to audition. And so everybody calls them the fucking Posh. It's about the most English fucking thing. Like,
it is.
Like, we don't want any of you ruffins. We only want the posh crowd to come try out. We are a gentleman's establishment here. Only the finest gentlemen are allowed. Finally, getting to League Two, we saw my beloved Aki lose, and they've dropped to 15th place. Now, the good news, 5th to 17th is all divided by about maybe 3-4 points at the most right now, so it's still really close. But they were on a bit of a roll and actually in second at one point, so that's not good. Top of the table, Notts County lost in a wild one, 5-4 to 18th place Colchester, and that has Crowley moved to them level on points, and it has Gillingham and Swindon Town are now only a point back behind them. And, of course, Wrexham drew Crew Alexander 3-3, but that is not the story. The big story, Super Paulie Mullen is back.
Super Paul Mullen.
And scored a brace. Wrexham currently sits in 9th place there. Have you started watching any of the second season yet, Alan? I know you had said you haven't even watched the first season. The first episode. Very cool.
I think we watched like the first two, I think it was. I think I kind of zoned out after the second. It's weird after you kind of know. You know what I mean?
Right. We all know they get promoted. Yeah. It's what it is.
So it's like significantly less entertaining than I was hoping for. But it's interesting, like seeing them deal with the cop and like having to get, you know what I mean? So that's interesting.
Get screwed over. We were talking about it last week. How unlike American sports, where the billionaire just goes, "Oh, hey city, I want to have a stadium. Make the fucking taxpayers pay for it."
Yeah.
In England, they're like, "Oh, billionaire, build your own fucking stadium."
Yeah, they very much are.
And you'll recoup some of your money out of the club, but for the most part, fuck you. Yeah. It's your legacy. You left a fucking stadium.
Yeah.
Be happy with it.
You're building infrastructure.
Right. You're helping the city, and that's what you're doing because you're a good human being, because that's why you bought a fucking football club.
Because you got money.
Yeah, you're a fucking steward of this fucking club.
Use it for things.
What a novel fucking concept. Let's go ahead and talk about a little something fun for 3 of the 4 of us. The League Cup happened. I don't know why the dog's trying to jump through the door. He has a frozen bone. He just wants the attention.
He wants me to have a "well fuck" moment.
Yeah, well fuck.
It's because we've been in here for 2 hours already.
Yeah, that's it. He's just all worked up. So to the League Cup, Hiram, you get to celebrate a goal of the month for September because you scored 1. And fortunately, that was enough to beat Brighton 1-0. How you feeling over there knowing you scored a goal in September?
I'm just glad we beat Brighton. I'll just take that as a win overall.
That goal cost $1 billion, right?
$1 billion.
Yeah. One goal. A win's a win.
It's a good return on investment, I think.
Alan, I didn't catch how your team did. How did everything go for you?
We just beat Man City. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for Wolves beating them this weekend, it'd be much more special, wouldn't it?
Right? They wasted our flavor.
I didn't watch the match because obviously at the same time was my club was playing. What did is did both sides kind of put out a weakened side? What did it feel like it was from City?
Yeah. Like, we had Lascelles and Paul Dummett in the center of the park at the back. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they didn't score?
And they did not score.
How the fuck did that
I think
happen?
that's just more on City. Like, I think the City B team got a fucking drubbing after that one.
Yeah.
But no, the first half was all them. Like, we couldn't do shit. But we had very much the B team, maybe the B- team,
Right.
on there, going early. And then at halftime, Eddie changed it up. He put Bruno on. He put Anthony Gordon on, I think. I think that was all he made then, and then ended up introducing Joe Linton, I think, down the line. But that changed the entire midfield, and we kind of took over from there, and they just did not look interested, honestly.
Okay.
So fuck it, we'll take it.
Fair
I guess.
enough.
Honestly, I probably didn't want it. We both were kind of like, do we really want to play this game? Does either of us want to go through?
Yeah, because in October we could have a week off.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
could not have to play in the midweek.
Exactly. But nope, we got stuck with it. So it is what it is.
You know, I would say,
It's fine.
The thought process, if we're going to, and it's the easy comparison to do, if we're going to compare Newcastle to City, right? Because it's a large influx of foreign money that is just like, it's monopoly money, right? You could as long as you're staying somewhat within financial fair play, or not at all in the case of City, and not get in trouble for it. I mean, jury's still out, but we know they're not going to get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
And I like to call that setting the blueprint for Todd Bowley, knowing that he won't get away with it either.
Yeah.
That he will get away with it as well. I mean, the idea would be, second year in on this project, it's win something. And the something to win is a domestic cup.
Yeah.
It's a league cup, or it's a FA cup. And it's like, advancing isn't a bad thing, right?
No.
Like it's you know.
No, the biggest boy is out, right?
Right.
We took care of that. Like, so yeah, I mean, I can't be too mad, other than I'm staring at injuries and like, and we got PSG coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is what it is. This is what we asked for.
It's still you beat City, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing.
Yep.
And Everton did the impossible. They won at Villa Park. Or better yet, they did the impossible. They won a game.
I was gonna say, location aside.
Honestly, what was very interesting about that match, and that's worth mentioning, is the coaching staff got their asses whooped by Villa the last time they played them at Villa Park. They made adjustments, and Villa was not able to do what they did to them the first time.
Villa's second team wasn't able to do what the first team did.
Diaby was out there. Again,
He's
Douglas
new.
Luiz was out there. There was a bunch of your guys out there.
DL was stoned.
But also big for Everton is DCL gets another goal. That's is you're having him recover. I know we got Burnley in the next round. Who do you know who you have?
Man United.
Man United. Okay,
Yep.
fine. Fuck it.
At Old Trafford.
Just take out all the fucking.
I saw a meme shortly after
all the
that
man
draw.
teams.
After the draw, it was like, yeah, fucking where it is that we got Liverpool at Anfield next round if we get through, and after that, if Arsenal's still around, we got them next. Like, so
It's
fuck
perfect.
It.
It'll make it It'll make it so much easier for like us or Burnley or like you know somebody like that to beat you in the final at Wembley.
We'll
right?
lose it to Burnley at fucking Wembley or some shit. Yeah.
Well, if you lose it to Burnley, that means Burnley beat us because that's who we have. So,
well, that's not that surprising.
here the big upset, because there was a lot of lower clubs that faced off against each other. So there's still a lot of lower clubs in the competition, which is always good to see. You know, when you get to the round of 16, and you certainly want to see a bunch of them make it to the round of 8. This is one of those tournaments. It's like you want your team to do well, but you kind of want all the lower teams to like. You want to see the little guys there. Exeter City, who is doing very well in League One right now. They were top of the table for a little while, and they're in the top 6. They put out Luton 1-0.
Nice.
Yeah.
And solid.
And then another one. It's hard to, pardon me, call it an upset, but Ipswich beat Wolves 3-2. But Ipswich is in the Championship and Wolves is in the Premier League, and if you look at it, its standings now, obviously Wolves won. They've moved further up the table, but at the time it was essentially 22nd place versus 17th place. So this isn't really a big surprise. And also you figure Wolves probably played their bench.
Yeah.
You know, and a team like Ipswich probably went, this is a scalp we can have.
We can grab.
Yeah. Like there's times where those lower level sides will go, oh, it's in our building, or oh, that's someone that's only 5 spots away from us in the overall table. That's right there. So, all right, cool.
I like it.
Boys, thank you for joining us again for the EFL show. Anybody, have you started like just thumbing through the phone now a little bit and just seeing what's going on in the lower tables from time to time?
Well, we always kind of catch the like Sunderland on a weekend or something. Like it's just kind of, it pops up on the Hulu and it's like, oh, let me check it out, and then it's like, fuck, they're winning.
You're like, God damn it, I need them to lose all the time. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Hiram, how about you? You taking a little look at the lower leagues now that we've been talking about them some?
Every now and then, whenever I get a chance, but it's pretty much on like a rare occurrence whenever it happens.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Well, yes, producer Mel, you look like you wanted to say something.
I'm just getting ready for my next cue.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, that's going to wrap it up. And thank you so much for joining us.
Patreon.com/. Oh, I'm sorry. I got so excited.
Yeah, at least you said .com.
Many ways that you can help support the show. Mel, why don't you tell people?
Patreon.com/. DU Football Show. Or just scroll right down just a little bit further. It went too far. Right there. You see that link? That is our Patreon. It is $5 a month. Helps keep these guys lubricated, offsets our costs, keeps Sam from spending too much money. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. I still spend money.
We still buy ridiculous amounts of whiskey, but yeah, I got nothing else. I'm tired.
Fuck off.
Send me to bed.
I mean, I figured we needed, a little bit of Graham here.
Very generic.
Well, you're very generic.
That was daft.
Yeah, that was daft. I always agree with Graham.
4 words. You'll never walk alone.
Fuck off.
Just remember this, guys.
Fuck them. Fucking dumpster fire.
All right, everybody. Till next week.
Good night. All right, we are clear from the show. Those of you watching, we are going to go reset, and we'll be back at 8 o'clock, probably a little bit sooner maybe, for the live show.
Hi, everybody.
It's like we never left.
Yeah, it's like we never left. And it's not like we just recorded a show that's going to be released later in the week that happened after we recorded this show.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Not the case.
I probably need to, next time I send out a release, going, yeah, we're going to do a pre-show before, but we never know if we're going to record it, like do it live or not.
Right. It all depends.
So, yeah, frogs.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we got out of it. That's what she got out of it. The three of us, we all got the same thing out of it. White women.
Yeah.
and their literal pet projects.
Yeah. Again, as the two married men in the room, both married to white women, as long as that project is not us, right, Alan?
Yeah, I don't care what you do. She was hanging up Halloween lights. Mine was the last like 2 days. Cool. Get at it. Get after it.
Go get them, girl.
Yeah.
You do that thing.
Yeah. It's not bothering me.
Does this involve me? Can I sit around and watch the Ravens play? Thanks.
Can I play? I watched the Ryder Cup and and the Ravens play.
That's Sam with the pond. Do I have to do anything? No.
Fucking build a fucking pond.
That's
You're
me
fine.
on my pod, actually.
And then it's like, now I have frogs. Okay, did you buy frogs? No, there's just frogs now.
Okay, good enough. It's not the turtle you almost killed. We're all right.
Well, no, that wasn't my fault. I did try to rescue him, and it came back to life, and Jesus Cristo.
And then you put him back into the water.
No, I didn't. He's wandering out there. In fact, got laid the other day with Big. I remember Big was trying to watch them do it.
The two turtles doing it. There were two turtles doing it in the trees.
I offered to bring them chocolates and a blanket because, you know.
You ever see that TikTok where the kid like picked up the clearly land turtle and threw it in like the river?
Yeah.
His dad was like, "What the fuck did you just do? That shit's a land turtle. It can't swim."
That's what happened with the turtle.
It was a box turtle, and it found the way into the pond. And I'd been checking on it, and I had a little ramp so we could get out. And then finally, I pulled it out, and I swear to God, Alan, I thought it was dead.
It was bloated.
Head was hanging out, tongue was out, eyes. So we put it over there, and I went to check on it between shows, and Graham's following me. And I'm like, it's alive, it's alive. And Graham doesn't believe me, so he comes over and pokes it and then runs screaming. And then I go back and go back and I check on it, and it moved on. And then we saw it again. I'm assuming the same turtle with a girlfriend or a boyfriend. I never stopped to ask the gender.
Well, I mean,
I didn't want to assume.
There's problematic things I could say, and I have jokes, and I'm not going to say those jokes.
Probably best.
Something about my pride frogs.
No. Just all turtles look alike.
Jesus Christ. Do you know what my mom used to do? We would find turtles, and looking back on it as an adult, I realized it's a bad idea. Used to find turtles going through my grandmother's backyard, and then we would, in nail polish, put our initials like in giant letters on the back, because that shit's not coming off. And so you'd have a box turtle with a giant M in bright red nail polish. I don't think that was very helpful for them in their camouflage going forward.
No, probably not.
Probably not
Back
at
on
all.
that, probably not the best idea.
Yeah. By the way, you probably don't want to use your show notes as a fucking coaster.
Oh, this is the other show.
Okay, well, the other notes are below them, aren't they?
Not.
Okay. Just making sure. Just.
How about you worry about bringing the funny? And I'll worry about
messing up sound drops.
Hey, I haven't messed up yet.
It's only a matter of time.
You know what? I gotta make sure because we've got a new.
Yeah. Ready to do a show, kids? Let's do a show.
Yeah, Christian's already starting the meme game. This is the way I thought the memes would go, but I'm sure that'll be up before the end of the show.
Yeah, we didn't hear that.
Hear what?
This is Everton supporter Alan Brody reminding you that two Allens are always better than two Sams. You're listening to the Drunkard United Football Show.
He's right. 100%.
I would say the correct Alan and the correct Sam are way better than any of those combinations.
Yeah. See, I'm offended because he didn't say anything about a Hiram at all.
Yeah, but everybody loves your voice. You're all right. You're the young hot freshest. You're the new kid on the block. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Huston.
Sam Huston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smells of a lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Drunkard United! Drunkard United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League is told by three common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Huston. Mr. Graham is away on paternity leave, and we are joined once again by Hiram. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing great, you beautiful man. How are you doing?
You've won 2 games in a row. You've scored 3 goals. I mean, you know, how about that?
Fucking ain't right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it only cost you $1 billion, but you know, hey, you know, it's a couple of wins.
You know, you win some, you lose some. We lost money, but we won the game, so that's all that matters.
Heard, very good. And back with us again, my brother from another, the smoothest fucking man in the business, Alan. How you doing, good sir?
Good, baby. You know how it is.
You weren't the only team to beat City this week, but you were the first, right?
Yep, that's right.
It worked out pretty well for you, huh?
Yeah, we laid out the blueprint.
First you do is you start Lascelles.
You start Lascelles and Paul Deming.
Yeah, and that's going to do it. That's going to get it done right there. That's the blueprint. Or you can just have the Korean guy, and that'll do all of it, too.
Yep.
And as always, producer Mel on the ones and twos. How are you, madame?
I'm doing well. That's all. I'm doing well. I've been better.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can find us wherever you get your pods. And, of course, we are streaming live right now wherever you get your streaming service, be it Twitch or YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or whatever. We're on all of them. That's where we are. Just wherever you like to watch it, watch it. Look for the...
Unless it's Tumblr or Threads or...
Telegram.
Telegram or WhatsApp.
Truth Social.
Fine.
Oh, we're on Truth Social.
You're on Truth Social?
Oh, yeah. We definitely, all of us, our demographic,
Yeah.
we certainly pop
All of
with
you.
the fucking, yeah.
Look for us on Truth Social.
And should you want to chat with us, there's many ways that you can. Producer Mel, tell the good... Actually, no, not Producer Mel. You've already done it. Alan, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
You can definitely send us emails. It's dufootballshow@gmail. Don't need the last part. Don't even worry about that shit. And for all your social media pleasures, please check us out. Twitters, Telegrams, Truth Socials, all the shit we just said at DU Football Show.
Bandvideo.com.
DU Football Show got a profile on Growler.
Nice.
You know, for the Bears. Definitely.
I like it.
I'm big in the bear community. What can I say?
That's solid, man.
Well, I work in the wine and spirit industry, and none of these other schmucks do, but they all like alcohol. And so as the red-blooded Americans we are, we've got to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Hiram, tell the good people what we are drinking today.
We are drinking some nice Kinsey. It is straight wheat whiskey. Its bottle is 2 years aged. It is 102 proof. And it comes from the Decor Bottle Shop, as seen on this sticker right here as well. So if you'd like to explain more.
So over on the Eastern Shores where the Decor Bottle Shop is, great little boutique place. It's just a fun little town. It's in Chestertown. So like one of those little...
Washington College?
Yeah, little waterfront type areas is really nice. And what is a wheat whiskey? A wheat whiskey is where the primary grain is wheat instead of, as we know with bourbon, it is corn, or a rye, it is rye. But they follow the same rules, right? So the primary grain needs to be at least 51%. And because it's an American-based whiskey, and this applies also across the world, this rule for rye and for wheat, and it's why you don't see rye or wheat whiskeys made in other parts of the world, is required to have brand new American white oak. Mm-hmm. Very expensive to bring brand new American white oak across the sea, so that's why you don't typically see, you know, someone in England making a rye whiskey. Yeah. For you, young Padawan learner, to kind of explain what you should expect from different types of whiskey. The 4 primary grains used, think of as bread. Mm. So bourbon is cornbread. It's going to be naturally a little bit sweeter, right? Rye bread is going to be a little bit peppier. So pepperier. So that's what, rye whiskey is going to have a little bit of spice to it. Wheat tends to be a neutral whiskey, right? It's going to be a little soft and neutral, not anything too overplayed. Normally going to have a little bit of natural sweetness to it as well. It also amps up sweetness, so that's why wheater bourbons that are corn with a little bit of wheat, so like, the Maker's Mark of the World are a little sweeter than, say, like Woodford. That wheat helps amplify the sweetness. And then barley, not a bread to describe barley, I call it cereal. So it has a cereal crunch to it.
Gotcha.
And this one is primarily wheat with a little bit of barley and no other grain. So what you taste on that back end, that little bit of kind of crunchy body, that's the barley grain coming through.
That makes a lot of sense now. Smooth though.
Yeah, you're not going to see very many wheat whiskeys out there. Very, very few. Bernheim does one. Kinsey, Journeyman. Journeyman is one well documented on this show.
I like that one.
The Journeyman Buggy Whip Wheat is, for me, that's a desert island whiskey. Like, if you told me I could only take, say, 10 bottles of whiskey with me forever, that bottle would be on that list for me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah. That's one of those
Start
ones.
packing your bags.
It's one of those ones. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. That's one of those ones that when I see it out in the store, I always buy a bottle and have a bottle on hand. That's just one I fucking love. And Kinsey is just a little bit about the distillery. One of those old school distilleries from prior to Prohibition. They actually stayed open after Prohibition and stayed open until about the 1950s, based just outside of Philadelphia. And a lot of people always say, oh, well, bourbon comes from Bourbon County, Kentucky. No, bourbon comes from anywhere in the United States. Problem is that when Prohibition happened, all the distilleries in Kentucky got medicinal license, for like night blindness and fear of blades of grass and, meowing cats and all
the cool
that.
snake oil stuff.
Right, all that shit.
And glaucoma.
And so they had license to distill still. So they did. They weren't selling a ton, but they were still able to produce whiskey. All the other distilleries weren't able to produce. They were completely shut down. And at that time, the bulk of whiskey wasn't made in Kentucky. It was made along the Pennsylvania, Maryland border into Virginia. That's where almost all the whiskey was made.
Pre-Prohibition, Pennsylvania had the number one amount of distilleries. Maryland was number 2.
Yep. And also, our federal government, are very thorough, very active, and so clearly they didn't just go to the distilleries that were really close to the nation's capital. They went all over the United States naturally, No, they only went to the distilleries that were right around the area that were easy to get to within a day. And those are the ones that they smashed the barrels and did all the burning down tearing down the walls and everything. Kinsey survived all that.
Yeah.
But then what ultimately killed them was, one, they didn't have supply, right? Because they weren't allowed to produce whiskey for 10 years. That's 10 years of your business model just taken away from you. And most whiskeys take 3 to 5 years to mature for the most part. The other thing, World War II happened. And us as a culture completely switched. We went tiki. And we started drinking vodka. And that's where we went. And that's what happened. And vodka became king. And only grizzled war veterans drank whiskey, and there was no longer a call for it. And then slowly but surely it all disintegrated, and then you're left with bourbon. And everybody goes, well, where does all the bourbon come from? Kentucky. Well, that's naturally by law. No, it's not by law. It's just the way it is. And they make Kinsey has an American whiskey, little gray label. It's they call it an 11-year-old because that's the youngest whiskey that goes into it, but it's 11 to 25-year-old whiskey. It's essentially bourbon aged in a second barrel, so not aged in new oak, and it is fucking lovely. Really good. Oh, what else do we always have to do, Hiram?
Make sure to please drink responsibly.
Lovely. Let's go ahead and get into the action, boys. Big cheers around.
A lot of clinks.
It's a lot of clinking.
It's good if Graham's watching. He's upset because there's all this love of everybody hanging out, and he's not part of it. So, because he lives in that world of me. So, there were wins and losses all this weekend, except for we opened with one side we thought might never lose, and another side that we thought might never win, and both did the opposite. And that's, of course, because Everton that. Wolverhampton 2, Manchester City 1, Luton Town 2, Everton 1. City completely stunned by the Wolves. And, you know, it's worth mentioning I've said I don't think Wolves are going to have staying power this season, but they played fucking great against United.
Yeah.
They played great against Liverpool. Why aren't we surprised that they played great against fucking City? And especially was in their building. Why aren't we surprised by that?
Yeah. I don't know. That's good. That's a fine question that I don't have an answer to.
And also, none of us should be shocked by the fact that the first goal, even though an own goal, was created by Neto. Neto's going to be everything to this team. He is 100% how they accomplish things. Now, City does get even on a Julian Alvarez free kick. That was fucking nasty.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was a nasty shot.
I keep forgetting how great of a player Julian Alvarez is, mainly because, of course, the Holland hype there is from that. But still, like, Alvarez is still that guy, too. He's only, like, 23, I think, too.
And also, within a Pep system, he very rarely puts somebody kind of behind the primary striker. Normally, it's controlling midfielders and a lot on the wings, and you just kind of build around, and Holland finds lanes. And in this instance, he puts Julian Alvarez out there with him, who can kind of bob and weave in the spaces behind, and it worked out really well for him. But there's really only one thing we can talk about.
Yeah.
Pep's pregame presser the earlier in the week. He was trying to sing the praises of the Wolves, and he was talking about their players, except for one player that he couldn't remember. And in the most non-racist way possible, Pep was kind of racist. Yeah. What was that he said, Mel?
Especially up front with Neto, with Cunha, with the Korean guy, and they are really, really good.
It does not matter the witty shit anybody says tonight. I'm just telling you right now, the show title is The Korean Guy.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Guarantee you Pep knows his name now.
Well, you know, and who would it be that happened to score the game-winning goal there, Alan?
It's a big Wang. big Wang hit him right in the face.
You know, he doesn't, you know, he has a loss for words on, calls him the Korean guy.
Korean guy.
But I guarantee you the Wang does not leave his mouth anymore.
Man, I think I would have peeled my jersey off and handed it to Pep. Been like, here you go, buddy. That's for you.
I mean, talking about choking on it.
The Wang just slotted it into the goal. It was pretty beautiful. He inserted himself into the game.
Yeah, man.
You know,
You prepped me for this, and I still wasn't ready for all of it.
Made an absolute mess out of everything.
just the probing and prodding of Wang.
Yeah,
you know,
the ball play was spectacular.
You can't forget about the balls.
Forget about the balls.
Not surprising after all that effort. He was very wet after the game.
So good.
Come on, Hiram, join in on the fun.
I'm not as clever as you got, so I got nothing.
It's a dick joke. Get it?
He got the big one. What can I say?
And coming from Hiram, that's a compliment.
Wang rose to the occasion. That's for
right.
sure.
Yeah. It was a hell of a climax.
It just doesn't get old. It just never ever gets old.
Oh my
Had
god!
so much success, even though he wasn't all that stiff.
So good.
Here's the thing. It should not. It needs to be said. Rodri is ultimately the most important player on the pitch.
I was just about to say that.
Because they can win games without Haaland. People can score goals.
Yeah.
Rodri's that fucking important to that team, and you could tell. Much. And Mateus Nunes didn't play poorly. He was all right. But Rodri's the guy. Yeah, that's like he's almost that David Silva role for them a few years ago. That Yaya Toure, like you just he manages everything.
And then he just steps up so well. Like once you see him come forward, and you're kind of like, oh God, please don't. Just stay back there.
Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. This opens the door. opens the door now. Tottenham find themselves in second when we talk about their result this week, and Arsenal have a nice tidy win. And frankly, the next game is City-Arsenal at Arsenal without Rodri. Fancy at least a point for Arsenal in this one. I think Arsenal going to probably get them. It wouldn't surprise me. And suddenly, City looks mortal.
Yep.
Yeah, surprising to see.
They have that blip. It's usually later in the season.
Yeah.
It's unusual to see it now.
Right.
We'll see how it pans out. Yeah.
I knew it was going to happen, especially when everybody started putting Everton to beat Luton in their bets. I was like, we're going to fucking lose. Especially because last week when we had Rob and Hiram here, we were all going through the schedule and just going, who are they going to beat?
Yeah.
It's like Sheffield at home, maybe?
Good.
And we couldn't come up with a second team. I forgot Everton. Everton had Everton.
Yeah.
This is what Everton does.
Yeah.
Every newly promoted side, they just go, oh, please come get points. Oh, you need to go ahead and get that first win? We get it. It's been forever since you've been in the top flight. Why don't you come get a win at our building? That'll be great. Everton now have lost all 4 of their home matches. And the sad part is 3 of those 4 are teams that are going to be in and around it with them. Yep. So now they got to go to their buildings later in the season and find points to, 1 step forward, 10 steps back, it seems.
Yeah. The loss to Luton's more than 10 steps, maybe.
Yeah. It's a fucking
it's a big one. Back. I mean, maybe the saving grace is you guys do kind of find a way to pull it out of your ass. So maybe those trips later in the season work out for you. But yeah, this is a bad way to start things off.
And it wasn't like Luton did anything different from what they've done all season. They sat back, they weathered the storm, and Everton did what Everton does, which is create a lot of chances but not put anything that really is threatening on goal. Yep. I think they ended up with 21 total attempts. Jesus. I think only 4 of them were on target. Ugh. And it's like just missing sitters, putting sitters, especially at the start of the game. And it was just like, oh, fuck. And then it wasn't like Luton did anything amazing. Ran down the flanks, find ways to get fouled, find ways to get corners. How did they score both of their fucking their goals?
Set pieces.
Set fucking pieces. Like, it just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Here's a thing, and this is more for me and my Everton followers and people that are into Everton as a club. A lot of people, because remember, Englishmen are much smarter than Americans. They know more about football than we do, and we should just shut up, stupid Yanks, and go watch basketball, right? That's what they like to say to us. Beto and Dominic Calvert-Lewin are the exact same player. They do the exact same job. Everybody, all the Everton... You got to play 2 at the top. Got to play those 2 guys. Got to play 2 at the top. Got to do that. That's what got to do. I don't know why Dyche isn't doing that yet. He did that in the second half, and guess what happened? Yeah. Both of them were completely neutralized because neither one of them knew what the fuck they were doing because the other guy was doing the same thing they were.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah. And for all the credit that I want to give the coaching staff for the Brentford win and then, of course, the League Cup win at Villa, which was massive because there was a building where you just got the shit kicked out of you and you went back and you dominated in that match. And get it, League Cup, different lineups, all that kind of stuff. But still, you look good and you as a coaching staff made adjustments that directly impacted the game. You're playing Luton and you go out with 4 fucking central midfielders in your starting lineup. And you play a defensive-minded setup. Like, this is the one team you're going to control possession against. So I know people are coming back from injuries, but instead of having Jack Harrison play the second half, why aren't you having Jack Harrison play the first half and impact the game the right way? Like, this is you have to take it towards their team. And we just went, we'll see it out, and eventually we'll get the W. And no, we didn't even eventually get the tie. I mean, just like Fulham, just like Wolverhampton, we dominated play, but we just didn't fucking get a result. And that's going to be. This now makes fucking Bournemouth next week fucking massive. It's the 8th game of the fucking season, and it's going to be massive. Like, that's some shit right there, man.
Yeah.
And we haven't, other than Arsenal, we ain't played anybody fucking tough yet. That's the other thing too. So
Yeah, that's the thing is the hole going to get too deep? I mean, luckily, there are definitely three worse teams than you guys, but...
And we're not in the relegation zone currently.
Yeah,
we're still out of it, which is fine, but lose to Bournemouth and they're jumping us.
Yeah.
Like, Burnley and Luton are playing each other this week. Like, they're playing each other on Tuesday, and Burnley wins. They jump up. We got them on goal differential, but not a lot of goal differential. That's for damn sure. Just not the game we want to be playing. So, time to do a shot of Malort.
Have fun with that, buddy.
Yeah.
You just get used to it.
Used to it now, right? Yeah.
It's my old friend. Hi, buddy.
That's why I stayed out of the fucking studio till we got taken over.
Hi.
I was like, I'm not fucking coming back for that shit.
How are you, friend? I've missed you. Look, it's got your logo on it, though.
I know, yeah.
So,
well, that was around the time that it was perfect.
It still kind of tastes what? Like Mike Ashley threw up in the fireplace.
In the fireplace. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, it definitely tastes just like that. Fuck me.
I just got a flashback to last week.
So bad.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Your team's got awful. It'll fucking happen again.
That's true.
You all won't hear it, but there was number one. We had a couple of heavyweight matches that had early season Champions League implications. Aston Villa 6, Brighton 1, Tottenham 2, Liverpool 1. And I have a feeling this segment is going to run a little long, boys, because we're going to kind of go ahead and get into it with VAR, even though multiple times, multiple seasons, I have said with Sam Graham, that's it. We're not talking about VAR anymore. Enough is enough. But we'll get to that soon enough.
I think it's impressive that Villa whooped the ass of not one team, but two teams.
Yeah,
it was 3 points for Brighton and 3 points against Hove Albion.
Hove Albion, you mean 3 goals and 3 goals. It's okay, Fix it in post. It'll be all right, honey. I'm trying to find my sounder real quick just so you can make fun of it. But
bless your heart. But pressing's not so easy, is it?
No,
it's not.
No, I'm just looking at you just because you're annoying as shit.
Don't worry, nobody will hear this either.
No, they will because you'll leave it here, and I'm not going to play it anyways. I was going to play the fucking
play it
Seagull
now.
song.
Play it now.
I can't find it.
In my way downtown, walking fast, I'm a seagull. Go fuck yourself.
Yes, I wanted to play that fucking button and I can't fucking find it anywhere. I'm still fucking looking for it and I still can't fucking find it. As I talk off mic, don't
Why
mind
don't
me.
you just tell me to produce you a sound cue, and I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Watkins is fucking again, everybody. Motherfucking hat trick for fucking Ollie Watkins, man. Getting it done. That is needed for Villa because he hadn't been scoring, and that was definitely a concern. We'll talk a little bit about this more, but I mean, obviously Villa went on and cruised at home, but there appears to be a pattern to beating Brighton, and that is punch them in the face early.
Yeah.
They've lost 2 games, and both of them were 2-0 down within the first 15 minutes. That's what West Ham did to them, and that's exactly what Villa did. Fuck. First 20, it was it was already 3-0 down. Do we think at times maybe De Zerbi is tweaking too much because there's European play and stuff like that? Because he really seems to kind of finagle that lineup quite a bit.
I mean, I guess you could make the argument, but I mean, I'd say they're less deep than us in Europe. You know what I mean? And he has to. It is what it is. But I think you are right. They don't know how to come back. So if you do punch them in the mouth quick, they seem to get out of sorts, and then they lose their game plan. Which seems to be the tactic.
There was some VAR checks in here as well that seemed a little off kilter, but ultimately I think VAR got it right as far as the calls went. Mel, this for you as a Villa supporter has to feel pretty rewarding considering you got your asses whooped by Newcastle. You got soundly beat by Liverpool. And if you're looking at the battle for Europe, you need to win some points. And this was a good one to win.
Yeah, we definitely have fixed the issues that were plaguing us at the top of the season. And I mean, we got hit with a couple unforeseen issues with the various injuries, but they're playing cohesive. They look like they're having fun out there playing.
Yeah.
And they're enjoying each other's company, and they all really, really like the coach.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know, Watkins was saying, like, he's able to do things, and he feels more confidence under Unai's tutelage, and he has just blossomed since the club's been taken over by... I don't know. What does Graham call him? Yeah, I know, but Graham was...
he always just says good evening is because because English isn't his first language, and it's very easy whenever there's a foreign coach to just let's make fun of the way he pronounces things.
Yeah.
That's a little wrong, reasonable. Especially coming from a Cuban Dutch like Graham.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not Cuban Dutch. It's Cuban Dane. Get it right, Denmark.
Cuban Dane. That's what he is.
No, he's Irish. He's Irish and Puerto Rican, but we call him Cuban and Danish because
that's the same shit.
It really pisses him off.
It's the same shit.
Yeah. You know, all the time. You know, it's like And it's like, calling you Salvadorian.
Yeah.
That goes over real well, right?
Yeah, Central American spick. he's island spick. It's same. Yeah. I get it.
No, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. And not a bad. If I'm going to get up at 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday, please have it be for an ass kicking like that.
I will say for a neutral to wake up for that game in the morning, that was a perfectly great game. You're just like, okay, yeah, I'm okay with that. And even if like you wake up at like a normal time, you wake up like 8 or whatever, and you just stumble out and watch the second half, you're like, yeah, I'm happy I sat down and watched the game while I ate my Cheerios. We're all right. Everything's good.
Villa's a contender for, I don't know what, but we're contending something.
You're going to have to take some bigger scalps. Like, it's going to have to be when Newcastle and Liverpool are in your building, you're going to have to return the favor. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to beat them in your building.
We play as well as who we're playing against.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we play up to them. And sometimes with like, I don't know, for example, Everton, we play down to them.
Yeah, you beat us 4-0 in the first time you played us, so shut up. We made adjustments and we got you. At least there was 2 wins this season. That could still taste like Mike Ashley in my mouth.
I mean, you lost the Luton.
Imagine how many unfortunate souls have said that besides yourself.
You're not wrong, sir. You're not wrong. Moving on to Liverpool and Tottenham. Yeah. This game as a whole, it wasn't a pretty game. It was a very choppy, very ugly game, but also a very entertaining game to the neutral because scrappy as fuck this match was.
It was. They let the boys play, as they say.
Now, 2 people got sent off, and it's honestly worth the debate. Should they have been sent off? I can say the following. Allow me to give my 2 cents, and I'll let you guys chime in. The red card to Curtis Jones is exactly what happened to you guys last week for Chelsea. Mm-hmm. You go through the ball, you get the ball, but your foot rolls over the ball, and the spikes go into the ankle. The problem is with VAR gets to see the spikes in the leg, which is, quote, the leg breaking tackle, because we have seen throughout the history of football many a leg broken from that exact hit. And because it's not playing the full build up, you're just seeing those spikes in. The world we live in now with VAR, that's a red card every fucking time. Yeah. It's what it is. Agree or disagree with how it's being done, it's a fucking red card, right?
I want to say it's definitely not a red. It should have been a yellow for sure. Mm-hmm. And I said this last week with Malo Gusto, like, who at most should have received the yellow for that tackle that he did. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if you're going to make that same challenge and then the ref is going to call it as a yellow, but then check it again through VAR and they claim it as a red, then if you're going to call what the Gusto challenge was a red, you got to call this one a red too. So you can't pretty much like...
Right. You'd be losing your mind right now if he didn't get sent
100%.
Off. You'd be like, how the fuck was that a red on my guy and not a red on him?
That's literally the first thing that came to my mind.
Because it was 100% the exact same tackle. I mean, it was frame for frame. Came through, foot on ball, foot rolled over ball, foot went through leg. Yeah. It was the exact same tackle for both of them. Alan, your thoughts with that?
I mean, I think you're absolutely right. It has to be applied the same way, right? So, I mean, seeing it once, seeing it again. But, like, I'll play devil's advocate. Maybe to me, like, I don't think it necessarily warranted a red, but the devil's advocate in me says, is that not reckless? Like, is that not dangerous? Like, yes, he won the ball, but you're coming in that way no matter what. You know what I mean?
Especially standing, too.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I'm right in between. I think it's hard. It's a little harsh, but it's also very valid, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, that it is what it is, and you move on.
Now, I will say, to agree with Alan, Jones' tackle to Basuma was definitely more malicious than Gusto's tackle last week, for sure. Only because, like, of course, Gusto, and it may be biased, but of course, I'm also seeing it from like an outsider perspective too. Like, he slid in and like Gusto's foot clearly hit the ball, and then the rollover went into I believe it's McGuinn's leg or something.
Yeah, McGinn.
McGinn, I'm sorry.
Not McGinn. It wasn't against Villa. It was against Villa. It was McGinn. Yeah. Sorry, yes.
So for Gusto's, again, I think that was yellow at most. Curtis, it did seem a bit more malicious, only because like he is standing and it's literally spikes up going straight into Basuma, which it looked like Basuma did have
same
more.
Thing, foot rolled over the ball. Just like Gusto, the foot rolled right over the ball and into the leg. The exact same thing happened for both.
And looking from that perspective, yeah, that's true. But again, from that angle, like if you're coming in spikes up like straight into the ball where Basuma clearly has the clear advantage of getting the ball first, then it may seem more malicious than the other one.
And then ultimately they go down to 9 men because Diego Jota gets 2 very quick yellows. The second one, absolutely positively a yellow, no doubt about it. And as I always say, do not give the referee a decision to make. If you give him an opportunity to make a decision, that means it might not go the way you want it to. The first one, it looked like he might have clipped him, but I've watched that replay 100 times, and I don't know if Jota did clip him from behind. Like, he went down in a manner that looked like he definitely got clipped, but then you look at it and it's like, what part of him actually clipped him?
I think, if I remember correctly, it looked like he clipped him a little bit, but if anything, like, not enough to send him down, but it was enough for him at a full sprint to throw his trailing leg off and for him to kick himself, which ended up sending him down.
Fair enough.
So I don't think, like, the foul itself probably wasn't anything, but I think at the time, with the temperature of the fucking game on the field, it was, let's settle this the fuck down. Yeah. Here's a yellow card. You know what I mean? Just as a kind of a game management yellow.
Yeah.
And then he goes and does something very fucking stupid.
Within a minute. Yeah. It's like, don't do that.
And then
don't fucking, like, you just, if the guy's by you, the guy's fucking by you, let your next defender, let your next guy up be the one that takes that yellow to slow him down.
We've all been there and seen it and done it, and like, I've seen it a million times, but Jota got up and was like immediately like, nah, he knew.
Yeah, he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
He knew it was coming.
So, what it is.
We're going to talk about the greater whole of all of that. Let's first, I'd love to play what Klopp had to say after the match. So, kind of funny.
Yeah, I red card for Curtis. Probably everybody here in the room thinks it's a clear red card. I see that different, but just because I played football and most of you probably didn't.
I mean, that's a really good way to endear yourself to your own press corps that's there to cover you.
Yeah.
I played football and most of you didn't.
Oh.
Moron, here's a news flash, Klopp. We've all played it. We haven't played it at the competitive level you've played, but we've all played it. Yeah. We have a understanding of tackles and things that, like, just it's not how you want to start the conversation, like how we did with Paul Tierney of he never played football, so he shouldn't be reffing because he doesn't understand football. Here's the amazing part with the way that they've changed the rules. I'm a bitch about them for a little bit, and then I'm going to also support what Klopp had to say as well, which we've kind of already done here, is we've started the whole thing with the yellow cards for coaches, arguing and stuff like that, right? Silva has already sat a match. Pep has already sat a match. Do you know who has yet to get a yellow card this season? Jurgen Klopp.
Really?
The man who has run into the center of the pitch, the man who screams at officials in their face, has yet to get a yellow card yet.
I mean, are we surprised?
No, I was going to say.
You gotta figure the PGM. I mean, the FA is gonna probably give him a touchline ban for that remark.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Right
true.
now, they're kid gloves.
So I think we've established we don't think that those two fouls in their instances were really malicious red card fouls. We think they're yellow card fouls, but we think that the freeze frame of here are spikes in ankle that could break this guy's leg. I think that has made us all and the referees very kind of kid gloves and go, oh, that's a red card because millions of people are watching this right now and that looks like a red card, so I better go give a red card is what I'm feeling. You're starting to hear more and more people, Klopp being one, and Christian Pulisic came out in an interview in Italy. In America, it was with the Men in Blazers. VAR's been a mistake. I don't fucking disagree.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting harder to not disagree.
It's goal line technology, sure.
Yeah.
I think the way offsides is handled in England is atrocious because also the goal that got taken away from Liverpool, I'm not sure he was offsides, and we only got shown one angle, and they only put up those lines real fuck quick and went offside. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And also when you're looking at those freeze frames, a lot of times there's players blocking. You can't see if the ball is off that passer's foot yet or not. And it's like,
let alone the angles of where they're at too. It's always like so.
They're just not very good angles. And I think if you want to incorporate on offsides, do what they did with the World Cup, because that was a computer generated AI image that immediately let you know, and you knew within 30 seconds if that person was on or off. And that was it, perfectly done. They did the image. They paralleled the images to one another. You could tell. This drawing the line shit off of a real play, where's that line really at? Yeah. What part is really off? Is a toe really off? Handballs have just become this kind of, we'll get to it, but Man United arguing the fact that a ball hit a Crystal Palace player in the hand. His back was turned and he was running towards the guy that the ball was being passed to. Yeah. Of course it's not a handball. But because it hit him in his hand, we all got to sit there and think for a second. Well, is it a hand? Just fuck the.
Yeah.
I feel like the human error is probably just ultimately better for the game.
Well, I think we've incorporated more human error into added layers with VAR. Like, there was always human error in the natural course of officiating, right? It is what it is. But like, now you're adding more humans to make that decision that are now very evidently having issues even just communicating.
And something Klopp said later on in that presser was, so great, the PGMOL apologized to Wolves. Did they get any points against Manchester United? No, they didn't. It's like, yeah, what does that apology mean? It means fuck all. Like, Brighton got apologized to 6 times last year.
Yeah.
Games that resulted in games that they could have been in Champions League and not in Europa League.
Yeah.
Because one of them was against Spurs. Yeah. It was a big fucking turning point for them.
We got apologized to against Liverpool for on the same kind of offside.
Yeah. Wolves got apologized to 5 times. We got apologized to 4 times. Like, the year Liverpool lost the title to City by 1 point, Liverpool should have won that fucking title because at Everton, Rodri fucking handled the ball and they didn't call a handball. That's where they started coming up with the whole, well, it hit the jersey, even though his arm was out and he literally went, whoop, and like knocked it with his arm. Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder, is VAR even worth it? It just feels like it's taking away from the game and it feels like it's hurting.
Yeah.
Just the overall, Graham said it multiple times, it just, like, you don't get to celebrate the most exciting part of the game, which is fucking goals.
I think we'll say, so I'll play like devil's advocate. Devil don't need no advocate, but I'll say, put it this way though.
That sounds like some grown ass black man shit.
That's where I got it from.
Your father has said before.
I've definitely got that from someone.
You really are 50.
I told you. Black don't crack. Anyway, but no, because we'll say we get rid of VAR completely, and it's just strictly on human error or human decision.
And then you have goal line technology like you used to have.
Right. We're gonna get used to. We're so used to VAR for like since 2018, 17.
It's been about 4 years now, 4 or 5 seasons. Yeah.
Right. So say we get rid of that, and then within like 2-3 seasons, we're gonna have people complaining, "Oh, we need to bring VAR back. The human error is ruining it," and it's gonna be like that flip flop. It's like, oh, "Okay, we need it back. Oh, we know we should keep it this way." It's always gonna be that back and forth for where VAR is ruining the game, but it's also helping the game at the same time. And I agree. I will say the World Cup definitely handled the VAR tremendously better than the Premier League, hands down though. But I think it definitely does come down to a system as the way how they handle that for sure. Like you said, like how they have like, I guess they had like the kits or whatever, like actually like the technology will be shown throughout the screen. Like, oh, okay, so he actually had his arm out or whatever.
Right.
That proved that he was offside or on. If they implemented that for sure, it'll definitely be better and beneficial where it won't be a lot of missed calls. Like, I'm still kind of up in the air about the Luis Diaz goal that Liverpool got taken away. Because, like, part of me is like, it looked offside, but it also was onside. But then again, another thing, angles. They only showed that one angle, so it's hard to tell. From
United versus Arsenal. Like, that was a fucking toenail offsides, that goal, and that would have put United up, which would have probably completely changed the outcome of that match. So pretty crazy. And I mean, it's a hell of a note when we have to say that Qatar, I'm sorry, call them by their government name, fuck Qatar, actually got something right with VAR. Rounding out the rest of the league. And so that happened. Arsenal 4, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2, Burnley 0, West Ham 2, Sheffield 0, Brentford 1, Nottingham Forest 1, Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. Gunners made real quick work of the Cherries, but the Cherries did not help themselves. Those are probably two of the most obviously dumb penalties I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Just like, oh, guy's running by. Allow me to kick him and push him at the same time in the box. The ref's going to let me get away with that. Don't even need VAR for that shit, man.
No.
I do like how they were like, all right, Kai, you need to score. So why don't you take this third one here, buddy? You haven't had to take a penalty for us yet.
Yeah. I
know all Chelsea supporters would have laughed their asses off if he missed that one.
100%. What's funny to me is like leading up to that match, it was like so much like Kai Havertz support, but like, give it up for Kai. He's done all this great work throughout his career so far. I'm like, yeah, he's done that for like maybe a season, but then again, like, it's not a lot that amounts to it. But again, with Arsenal,
he was great in Germany, and then he did nothing for Chelsea, and so far he has done nothing for Arsenal.
Yeah,
like that's just what it is. It's absolutely what it is. Bournemouth needs to get it together in a hurry. Good thing they get to go to Goodison, which seems to be everybody's slump buster next week.
It's a nice cushy trip.
Yeah, it is.
Nothing too big to worry about.
Head up to the Northwest, have a nice day on the coast. You'll be all right. Get it done, you know? You don't have to play Liverpool. You just play Everton, you know? Yeah, everybody goes and wins there. Except for them the last time they were Goodison. That's the last time we got a home win was them at the end of the season. Crystal Palace, that Anderson goal was a fucking screamer. I always love watching, like, big center backs get a hold of one because normally the only way they score on set pieces is with their big meaty foreheads.
Yep.
And just that ball that comes across, you're just like, oh
yeah, man.
Just rip that shit. And of course the handball that every United player surrounded the ref and yelled at, and I'm surprised the ref didn't give at least one yellow for the 10 players that were surrounding him going, that's a handball. And just a crying fucking shame that you actually have to look at that and go, are they gonna call that like?
You got to be worried for a second.
The man's running away, like his back is. It's not a fucking handball.
Yeah.
How long is Ten Hag's leash, Alan?
I mean, it's Manchester United, so short as fuck, probably.
Yeah.
You would think he has a long one, but Nothing seems to be going right.
But
honestly.
who are they going to bring in?
Who fucking knows?
You bring back Ole just to kind of make. Oh, we got to put an arm around him, make him feel good.
I hope so much.
Bring the happy
would be
lad
great. Yeah. What do you? I mean, who do you think has a shorter leash? Fucking
Like
Ten Hag or your boy Pochettino?
Currently, Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Only because they've been on the current slump. Even though they are higher in the table with us currently right now, I still think that
Off the table shit doesn't help. The off the field shit does not help. Anthony, Sancho for the disciplinary actions that, here's a multi-million-dollar signing that we bring in, and Ten Hag's got him not even practicing with the squad. Like, that's not
also,
good.
I think the vibe around them two are different. Just speaking about you guys and like, yeah, you guys haven't started, like, you're starting to get going, it seems like now, but like you haven't had a real good start, but the pressure doesn't seem like it's super high over there. It doesn't feel
kids. A lot of kids.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like normally over there. It feels like they were like, we spent $1 billion, we got Pochettino, we're just gonna figure it out. Like we're just gonna let it ride. Whereas Man United, like, it feels hot.
I think it's like you said, like, since we have like the younger players and we're still trying to develop that chemistry, they have the more established and veteran players. Like they have a Casemiro, the Eriksen, Mason Mount, and Bruno. Even still, like they have like all those experienced players and those people have that cohesive unit, but they still don't have like that chemistry where it's like they had to bring them to that top level where they're expected, where they're at the same top 4 spot that they always used to be.
Yeah. Very true. Now, moving on to Newcastle Burnley, it feels like Newcastle is finally starting to figure it out, man.
Yeah, we were talking pre-show, and I think that is correct. I think we're starting to kind of settle it back in. I think he was tinkering with some things. He was trying to force Tonali into the midfield early when he first got him. And if you've seen anything with his signings over the last year and a half, nobody comes straight into his team. Anthony Gordon, even in the offseason, said he was like, I was fit. I was not Eddie Howe fit. Like, I did not fit that system yet.
Right.
He's getting there for sure, though.
Yeah, no.
Well, and you're seeing the rewards with Gordon. He's doing great right
Gordon's
now.
up to speed. And I think what you're seeing now is, like, Tonali's been benched the last couple of games. He's come on as a sub. I think that's helped a lot, and then just started to settle it back down. But ironclad shape at the back.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not letting up goals. We were shipping kind of some cheap goals, pressing up a little bit higher.
Definitely.
And now the press is kind of back and smart. Bruno's, I think, back up to his speed. He was a little hurt off that ankle injury on the offseason. So I think everything's starting to settle down, and we're back to kind of where we want to be.
Do you think it because Tonali being benched is probably because like he had that I shouldn't say like that arrogance, but like that high standard of like, okay, I came from Milan, I came from like a higher tier team to Newcastle, who are on the rise pretty much. Like they're still in Champions League and stuff, but they're on the rise. But I'm just coming to like a team where it's like, okay, I'm pretty much gonna be made for this essentially.
Yeah, I think it was maybe a little bit of that, and then a little bit of just the expectation, right? Like you buy a guy like that in the summertime. I think Hal felt the expectation to get him onto the pitch,
right?
With Bruno,
big investment into the player, that kind of thing.
But
and he looked great in the first match. It was
scored
dream
7
world.
minutes in. So it
was dream world. Everything was perfect.
But then having like watched them, it's just I know a couple of the guys in our group have said they don't think that they can play together. Them and Bruno are a lot similar.
Yeah.
So I think it was really just, again, a little bit of expectation from everybody. Howe felt like he had to get him in. Tonali felt like he needed to play and play well, and the expectation was high. Whereas now I think if things have settled down, the season's settled down, he could pull him out and sit him down and say, all right, this is what we need you to do.
Yeah.
Because the problems with him and Bruno were like, they're leaving each other's space open. They're not talking. And I brought it up. I was like, maybe there's a language issue. You got a straight up Italian and a guy who maybe knows 30 words of English.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So maybe there is a problem there because they were just leaving each other out to dry. And they're both too talented to do that. So I think once they settle in and figure out how to play together, and starting with City, Liverpool, Brighton, didn't give us a chance to kind of bet in.
Real quick on Burnley, I feel like they need to get something soon.
They really do. They weren't bad, though.
Right. Well, that's it. They're not bad, but this is also a completely young team. And if you don't start getting some points soon, you're going to lose those kids. They're gonna fall out of love with the system. They're going to fall out of love with company. They're not going to realize that this is a project. So, like, honestly, the game Tuesday against Luton is fucking massive for them. They need to come away with a fucking win in that. They got to.
No, I think they're good enough to beat that team. having watched them now, like,
yeah.
Again, we talked about this. Kudos to going out and trying, but like, it's good. You got to pick your battles. This isn't the championship. You can't do that and run circles around everybody.
Right.
Like, they held their own for 10, 15 minutes, and then our press and pace and style just overwhelmed them. It's going to happen to them. They need to figure something out.
So we're going to get through these next two pretty quickly because there's not really a lot to say. I think this is exactly what we expected for West Ham and Sheffield. That West Ham was far and away the better side, but they weren't going to score a ton of goals. So 2-0 seems like exactly the right score line. And the Blades are in a bad way. And I'm amazed. I keep checking the news to see if Heckenbottom has gotten sacked yet, and he still hasn't. And
give it 2 weeks.
Last week I thought we were going to talk about it. This week I thought we were going to, like, I'm amazed he still has the job, because they got to do something drastic to kickstart that team right fucking now.
I'll give it 2 weeks. Maybe a month tops.
Yeah. He'll get to the next international break, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's about it. But they look
November.
They look terrible. Where Burnley looks like they have a little something and they can eke results out against teams around them.
Sheffield looks like they're going right back down.
Yep.
Look like they are going right back down. And at least it's like it's like Luton got to win at the right time. It just doesn't seem going right for the Blades at all. Nottingham Forest and Brentford, honestly, the red card tracks. It is no different than the last two red cards we talked about. It is spikes up in the leg. If the referee sees that still frame picture, he's walking out, he's making the big square, and he's putting up a fucking red card. It's just going to happen. Right, wrong, or indifferent, have whatever opinions we have about what VAR is. I think we can all universally agree. If that picture is on the screen,
you're off.
It's gonna be a red card, and it will be more shocking when it is not a red card for Manchester City against Arsenal than it is any other time where it will be handed out as a red card. Forest, you know what? Very comfortably becoming part of the scenery, right? They're the couch in the living room, and I would say for Forest, it's exactly what you fucking want. Just become part of the scenery. Become a mid-table club. Stick around. Just make that money. They suddenly have a shirt sponsor miraculously. So do you guys now miraculously.
Yeah, of course. Right when my jersey is supposed to come in too, and I'm mad about that.
7 weeks in, now you got a shirt sponsor.
Who's that laundering for?
Well, blame fucking Peacock, because we couldn't get Paramount on our shirts.
Bowley got to move some money around.
Yeah.
You know what? Not a single fucking goal in September, but 2 in 1 minute for you so far in October.
Give me that fucking dub.
Mudryk. Finally. Mudryk, finally. Yeah. And then, of course, Borja back healthy.
Yeah.
I think because he's already had success when he was loaned out at Southampton, has had the chance to play a little bit in the Chelsea lineup, I think Poch is going to go with him for a little while. And I know Jackson was on suspension, but I think he might go with him for a little bit. I doubt there's going to be changes to this lineup next week. This lineup won, which is something they haven't been fucking doing.
Yeah,
I agree. Only because like Jackson needs that little oomph, pretty much, to tell him like, hey, like you were pretty much like the only striker that was out because Broger was hurt. Washington hasn't really having that proven himself to be played yet. So
Chukwuemeka got hurt as well.
Well, yeah, but he's mainly like our 10 though, so we wouldn't play him up top. But even still, like you're like our solid striker for that moment. But then now Broger back in, he's pretty much just going to be like that. I shouldn't say that guy because I thought Jackson was going to be like that guy stepping in because he had the high potential. Not counting him out yet, but for sure, like I think it's definitely going to give him something to work on for sure.
Yeah, hey, how about that? Do you remember what it was like to score a goal?
Kiss my ass.
Sure money.
All right, so allow me to do the following. I don't like when I have to pull this out, but this is an old school reference to Alan. It is the, as we like to call it, the Dortspirect Cup of Losers, not the Sports Direct, famously owned by Mike Ashley. And City is why I don't hit bets. Yeah, that's it's 3 times I've lost with City so far this season. 3 fucking times. Like, Just for some reason, they're why I don't hit bets. So look at the whole bet. And I also said to Graham and Pat, because they had both picked the exact same 4-game parlay that I picked, except for they made it a 5-game parlay and had Everton beating Luton. I was like, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. So if my bet hits and yours doesn't, it means my team lost. So you all can just fuck entirely off. But I am still up $278.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
Forgot to take this out. Rob's not here. Alan and Hiram, did you know that 33.3% of the time, it works 100% of the time?
Oh, 100%.
That's solid math right there, man. Yeah. You like those infinity numbers. I like when you do the calculator, and it's just like, that 3 would go on forever.
Hashtag boy math.
Exactly. boy math. Boy math is funny. I'm going to go ahead and be a little risky since I'm up. I'm going to take 2 road teams that I think are going to win, and I got really good odds for it, so why not? I'm going to take Forest to win at Palace, because I think Palace is a little overconfident with that win, and Palace doesn't always play well in their building. And I'm going to take Villa to win at Wolves in the pseudo-Brummy derby.
Yeah.
Because Villa's the better side, and I think Wolves are going to overlook it because they just got City. And that is at a plus 740. So it's a risk-reward bet, but
I like it.
I wouldn't be surprised if I lost it, but fuck it. I'm going to go for it.
Ned Stark is definitely losing his head, but you know who is really, I guess, good at betting?
Mm-hmm.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, I'm all right. How's it going there?
We're doing okay. We're recording a show. We got Alan and Hiram, and nothing much going on.
So City fucked your bet, huh?
City, United, Everton. I mean, Saturday was pretty much just a shit show. I mean, all around in the world of gambling.
Oh, didn't do well in college either, huh?
Didn't do good in college either.
College betting, where we lose our kids' college fund.
All right, and let me explain that too. By half points. You understand what I'm saying? By like losing bets by like half points.
Oh, that sucks.
Because I mean, I don't parlay a lot. I just do single. So when you lose several single bets by half a point, under or over, it just makes you reconsider your life.
Well, the Red Commander skins helped me out. They covered the spread, and Mr. Robinson scored a touchdown, so I made a nice little chunk of cash there. And I would have liked to seen them win the game as well, but I was like, gotta like when you're going into overtime and you know the bet's already hit. I'm like, yeah, baby.
I know, it's funny because I was at the O's game, and there was like, when they tied it up, there was like a murmur that went through the crowd, like, Commanders tied it up with Philly. Commanders tied it up with Philly. And I was like, so what is happening right now?
Oh, my God. The whole world's going crazy. So what's your bet this week, Pat?
All right. Well, this is purely just what I'm going to call a payback bet. All right. So I'm going to one bet, if I can't win 5 parlay, what's the point? Might as well just try and win one game. So I'm going to take Arsenal over Manchester City. I think it's they're going to have a little bit of payback for them, for City taking out. I think City, due to lose. So
they're without their key playmaker with Rodri, and we've been talking about it on the show. We all kind of fancy Arsenal getting points out of this match, especially in their building. What's the payout on that?
Plus 175.
Nice.
So it's simple. A good payout. Yep. So 100 on 175. I'm currently down 200. So, so edge me a little bit closer to even.
Well, there you go. Best of luck to you, Pat, and we'll check in with you next week.
All right. You guys have a great week.
Night.
Bye.
All right. So
hold on one second here. He said edge him a little bit closer. What he wants to be Vivek.
So Graham texted in his bet because he's still on paternity leave, and he says he is still up a whopping 786. Oh, there's no sound effect for him. And going up a little conservative this week, he is taking a flyer on the Toffees. How sweet of them to gift the first week of the season to Luton. That's very, dare I say, Fulhamish. So this week will be Tottenham over Luton, because that's a safe bet, and with Son to score at any time. You know, the other Korean guy.
Terrible with money.
And there's going to be 2.5 goals for Tottenham in the game. I'm adding in a Villa win over the Wolves and a double chance Fulham or Sheffield United win. Draw kills it, but I think there'll be a winner. This will be a total up at 753.
Get it the fuck together, Sam. Not good gambling.
It never is.
9-way parlay.
Are you having fun pressing buttons?
Yeah, there's so many complicated. He likes like this like either or bets. He loves fucking wiggling that shit in for. Problem for me is I would love to work in goal scorers because I would just do some goal scorer bets, but and I only go off FanDuel when I do everything because I ain't downloading any of the other fucking apps, and FanDuel's where I can do it at the casino
Brand
too.
loyalty.
Well, it's where I can do it at the casino too is the main reason. I'll just keep it universal.
Sorry, brand laziness.
Yeah, more like it. And the problem there is they don't post any goal scorers on Monday night. So when I want to write my bet, it's like, oh, okay, I'm fucking working a goal scorer. So fuck it. I'd prop the fuck out of my bet. I'd do like 9 corners and shit like that. I like getting proppy. Proppy's fun because proppy's hit.
Yeah, I wanna.
If you know your shit well enough, proppy's hit.
So are there now like Taylor Swift prop bets?
Oh god.
Oh, there definitely is.
I'm loving all the Kelsey jerseys and glitter that girls are wearing now. The Swifties are taking over the NFL. This is the greatest.
There's already a Swiftie jersey.
Ever. I love it.
Do you know what the Swifties don't have? A fucking chicken. Go get him, killer.
All right, Katie's bet hasn't come in yet, so she still is at 2 and 3. This week, I gave Katie Spurs traveling to Luton Town. Katie showed me a picture of her on set of the remake of Sleuth with Kenneth Branagh. Okay, and Jude Law. Besides
us telling him how to pronounce shit.
Yeah.
Besides doing the movie together, both Kenneth and Jude are both massive Spurs supporters, so Kitty is picking Tottenham to win. Please remember to gamble legally and responsibly.
Won't be that some shit if Luton gets 2 in a row.
That would be funny, and it would be exactly the most Spursiest thing ever. I also love the fact that I knew the show was running a little long. I'm like, fuck it, the betting segment's going to take no time at all. Hiram will take 25 fucking seconds. All right, everybody.
Did Hiram remember to tell people to gamble legally?
He said it very quickly. It was fast, but it was in.
Please remember to gamble legally and responsibly.
I've heard Hiram was fast, but I've never seen it before.
So, do you know who Jude Law is? Do you know who Kenneth Branagh is? Do you know any of those actors?
Why? He sounds familiar.
Kenneth Branagh is all the Murder on the Orient Express, the remakes of those movies. That's him. Classic English guy, was married to Emma Thompson for a while. Just
Who's
acclaimed
the bad
director.
guy in Wild Wild West?
Yeah.
See, that's the movie I didn't see.
Oh.
I keep hearing about it because,
it's so bad.
I know.
He did Emma Thompson
English as
super wrong in the late 90s, and we're still Gen X girls are still bitter over it.
Yeah, well, Emma back in the 90s was one of my girls. I loved me some Emma.
I am always Team Emma.
But he did, it's like, what was it? Gibson does. It was Gibson who did Hamlet, right?
Oh, this fucker.
And then Branagh goes, no. Hold my beer. Allow me to do a only on TV film version of it that is 4 hours.
Yeah.
Because he didn't do it properly.
Gibson just liked to do the incest part of Hamlet. That was just subtext. Didn't need to actually become part of the show.
I didn't realize he was in Harry Potter too.
All right, so that's gonna wrap it up.
Every English person was.
That's true.
Boys and girls, gentlemen, were there? Did you guys see any stories that were especially cunty? Any deep acts out there this week or anything at all? Anything to close with?
Nah, I don't think so.
All right, we need to figure out when I'm doing your show. Fuck Graham. Doesn't need to be him. Needs to just be me.
Okay.
But we got to do studio. It's got to be the all of us together being really stupid.
All right.
Well, don't you have a studio that you sometimes record at?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to figure that out. Make it a special occasion.
I'll work the logistics out.
Yeah, and then when you're doing your shit, and it's going to be in studio with you. So I'm coming up to Glen Burnie. I'm gonna lower my standards from Naptown and come up to the Birdie.
Hey, Come to the Dirty Bernie.
Yeah, there we go. There's some good food trucks up around there.
That is true.
Some really good food. Your people, Alan.
Yeah.
Got some like, killer fucking food trucks
I
there.
said, shit, your people have some good seafood places up there. So.
Good answer. All right, everybody. Next up is Injury Time, where we talk about the beers we've been drinking, and we also talk a little bit about the Ibs, fantasy football, and we preview the next weekend's action. Mel, should somebody want to find Injury Time, how do they go about doing that?
Well, you just right after you like and follow the show, which I'm not even sure why you haven't done that yet. So we'll wait. Go ahead and do that right now. All right, now scroll on down right below the DU Drip Shack link. You know, that's where you can get all your fine DU swag. Go ahead and click on that Patreon link. That is patreon.com/DU Football Show. $5 a month. You get 2 extra shows. You'll get a Christmas card. You'll get some videos, some tasteful nudes, and all sorts of fun stuff.
Hey, like Kevin Garnett said in the ESPN commercial, all nude, but tastefully done.
Tasteful nudes.
Tasteful nudes.
I mean, come on, who doesn't want to see a tasteful nude of yours truly?
Yeah.
I mean, one of these times it's going to happen. One of these times I'm going to give you, because you're a Patreon person, you're going to get a Tim Howard with the goalie glove body image shot of yours truly.
I always said I wanted to do like a big guys of Maryland calendar. Yeah. Like all the homies. Just
I've got a photographer,
do, like,
Claire, and
themes.
I will hook it up. I'll do the styling.
Let's do it.
Can I make flower crowns
Fuck
for like
yeah.
one of the shoots?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You want to do that for middle class holes? You can already count me in.
You can make me midsummer for fucking April.
I'm serious. We'll do this like for a fundraiser for something.
Yeah.
I love it.
Especially because you do the skirt of flowers for you and have you be like, oh yeah, that would be fucking brilliant.
I am feeling it. I've
You
already got
can put me inside of a bear.
And Hiram's over there bashfully laughing because he's being confused about the feelings he knows he's going to feel.
Because I pictured the midsummer thing already in my head, and it's fucking hilarious.
See? So what do the Annapolis Blues need fundraising for? We got you a calendar.
Yeah, I'm sure Hitch is all over that. Give me half-naked big men. That's going to work.
Yeah. Well, hey, once the money comes rolling in.
Made him spin again. We got it in, Coach. What a show. Till next week, everybody.
Good night, folks. Oh my gosh, you guys are an absolute train wreck, and
I got to take a piss.
Love it.
Was that $1.15?
Yeah, we're still recording. There we go. Now we're not. Bye, everybody.